Welcome once more to Dhare's Dosage. I'm Dháre, and if you were with me yesterday, you know that we have begun this 21-day series, Absolutely Authentic, and I have decided to step out from behind the screen after blogging the last 3 years and being able to reach women globally. But the time has come for me to let my face be seen. So I began this 21-day series at a very critical, pivotal time in my life in which I've just had a major life uprooting. So go ahead and check out yesterday's short video if you haven't seen that just yet. And if not, feel free, you'll follow along just fine. Each video each day will be able to stand entirely within its own right and within its own respect. So just as a quick reminder, again, if you've seen or if this is your first time ever seeing my face, hearing my voice, I am a 30-year-old woman, mama, author, artist, healer, and I just made a huge decision recently to remove myself from the partnership of the father of my 2 babies. And of course, it's all you can do sometimes is chuckle, that's all you can do sometimes. It's just the release of energy. It's something that I definitely take very seriously. But today, what it is that I wanted to speak on was intuition, really. And, this whole series, it's not about to be any kind of breakdown day after day or going in depth about, relationship woes, not at all. But I just wanted to touch on some things today because, like I said yesterday, I'm here to be completely raw and real and authentic with you. So the fact that I took the courage and made all this big move decision. See, let me give you a little context. Few years ago, a little over a couple years ago. So I'm a Cali girl, okay, born and raised. Spent a little time in Kansas City in childhood, but born in Cali, spent most of my life in Cali, graduated from college in Cali. This is my home base. This is my stumper ground, okay? Proud of it. I decided to uproot my life for the sake of the man that I chose and the man that I saw myself having children with. And I moved across the country from him, away from all my family, left majority of my material possessions behind. When I say uproot, I meant uproot because I was serious about it. I'm a brave woman. I'm not afraid to make big decisions when they feel right for me. And for some reason, I knew that this person was going to be the father of my children. And at the time, I thought that this person was going to be my lifelong mate and partner. I got one of those things right. But anyway, like I said, the decision to exit that relationship, it wasn't an easy one at all, but it really did come down to my intuition because now for a while I had been getting signs, had been getting promptings, but I was always just kind of push them to the back burner, make justifications to overturn them, to stay in it for the sake of, being with the man that I was having a baby with, because we did get conceived fairly early. Within a year of being together, I was pregnant, and my little girl, she was supposed to be here, obviously, her soul was ready to come through. I have absolutely zero regrets about that. She's my everything. Well, now I have 2 everythings because I have a little boy too. But anyway, as far as my decision to leave within, this past month, it's been a challenging year, for me and the mate that I was with. I'm not going to go into details for the sake of privacy because, just in case, I know this is on the World Wide Web, I know at some point people that know me from the community that I was a part of may very well be watching this. And I sincerely know that he was a good man in many ways, but I sincerely know that he was not the right man for me. I'm sure he's going to go on to do amazing things with his life. I have zero doubt about it. And he is going to be that perfect mate for someone someday. but there were many reasons why I knew in my heart and my soul that it wasn't for me. And so I really had to trust my intuition. This year I was getting sign after sign after sign, and not just the signs, but the occurrences and the promptings to leave and the reasons that caused me to leave just kept escalating, becoming stronger and stronger, more apparent, and it was really what I call pure power. As I said yesterday, it's really been pure power just forcing me to wake up, to open my eyes, and to trust, to trust in where it was that I was being guided, when I knew that that partnership and that community was not something that I ought to be a part of. So like I said, it wasn't easy. And I know this path is not necessarily going to be easy, living the single mother life. I put single mother in quotations because realistically, are you really a single mother if you have a whole support network of family around you that's willing to be hands-on and help you out? I don't really consider that single motherhood, just saying. But anyway, back to intuition. Countless signs, countless promptings, numerical promptings, messages promptings, from teachers that I admire and listen to, from things that I would receive within my own mind and my own heart that I'd be processing through my own journaling, through my own spoken journaling, even signs from nature. I'll share one incident with you, for example. On the night where I had my final straw, so to speak, my final straw where I knew without a shadow of a doubt that not only did I need to leave that union, but the urgency to do so was, the urgency was on. So that night I went to the backyard area. The apartment complex we're in has a little backyard space and it has one huge tree in the back. I came to know her as Julia. So whenever I would write about, receiving things back there, when I would be under her or, touching her or just standing near, I would refer to her as Julia. So anyhow, that night it was, again, details, they don't matter. Respect the privacy. I'm going to respect his privacy. You have no choice but to respect mine because I'm choosing what it is I get to share with you. But anyway, in all seriousness, I was standing there with Tree Julia, and all I could do was raise my hands towards the sky. And I said, okay, 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 okay. I wasn't talking to the tree per se, but I was talking to pure power, and I recognize her as being connected to that, of course, and just I kind of recognize her as a symbol of that support. And I would often go back there and just gain, touch her and gain strength for the day, feel myself being rooted as she was into the ground, taking deep breaths in. There was this big chunky part on the middle of her bark that literally looked like a heart. I wish I had a picture of it. I don't know. If I do, maybe I'll post it somewhere at some point. But I would connect with her heart. I would look up to the sky some days and just really feel that connection, and it would bring me at peace and help me to be able to focus and carry myself and really kind of resituate as far as who I am, what I am, and the strength that I have. So anyhow, that particular night when I had my final straw incident, as I call it, I was back there, hands up to the sky, and I said, okay, okay, okay. And then I said, I'll go, I'll go, I'll go. And I was saying that over and over again with both my hands elevated toward the sky. And then I started receiving this sharp, tingling sensation pulsing through my left hand. Now, if any of you are familiar with like basic energetic works, we recognize that the right hand is the projecting or receiving hand or side of the body, and then the left hand is the receiving. I'm sorry if I misspoke. I'm not going to re-record this. I'm just going to speak again just in case I did. The right side is the projecting outward giving side, and the left side is the receiving side. So as I'm saying, okay, okay, I'll go, in ultimate surrender, I'm receiving in my receiving hand these sharp, ecstatic pulsations through my hand, shooting down my arm, and I'm in awe. I'm like, oh my goodness, It was one of those things where, you ever like get to a point where like you're surprised by something, but you're not surprised by it at the same time. it was one of those instances because I'm like, it feels good to be receiving such a direct and physical confirmation of something. But at the same time, I couldn't be surprised by it because it's not the first time that I've gotten some kind of, sensual signal for things. And when I say sensual, I'm not talking sexy sensual. I just mean sensual in terms of our 5, 6 senses. That's all I mean by that. But yeah, really, that was one of many promptings and many signals that I had that it was time for me to go. And I think back to, I'm going to share you a little story, back from in my early 20s. Like I said, I'm 30 years old now. In my early 20s, I'd say, those first couple years out of college, my degree, anyway, that's another story. But anyway, so I was working a couple part-time jobs at the time. One, I was directing an after-school program for children. Another one was at a restaurant. I would work, late. I would work afternoon, daytime at the school, and then nighttime at the restaurant. So one particular night, I was leaving the restaurant. And again, bona fide Cali girl here, loud and proud. I have not been shy to marijuana, let's be real. I've had my days of indulgence. Nowadays I've come to a place of maturity and recognizing plants as messengers and as medicine, and for them to be used responsibly. We'll touch more on that another time. I'm sure I have so much to share about so many things, but I'm trying to stay focused and on point here. So anyway, at that particular time, I was indulging in it, pretty regularly and not for the right reasons, So one day after work, I was out. I had a dispensary that I like to go to. It took a freeway to get there. But something told me not to go. And by something, it was my intuition. I know sometimes it could be hard to explain like what exactly is intuition, but it's this feeling sense. It's just this inner knowing, you can't always, calculate it or put it down to a science, but it's one of those things where you know. So I had that intuition, that thing, it told me like so clearly, like, do not go tonight. Do not. Did I listen? No. Hard head that I could sometimes be. Sometimes I went ahead, hopped on that little freeway, went to my little favorite dispensary, got my goodies, driving home on the freeway. And what happens? My tire busts out in the middle of the freeway. And if you think that's bad enough, remember, it's nighttime, it's late. I had a closing shift. So this is after 11 o'clock at night, dark, driving Los Angeles freeway, freaking Los Angeles freeway, okay? Tire busted in the middle. Oh my goodness. I'm like, ooh. Anyway, if you think that's bad, my phone died and I had no charger in my car. Oh my goodness. So you can imagine what a night was for me. Long story short, eventually I was able to wave someone down, got the help that I needed. Took forever, got the tow home. Couldn't afford it, but luckily I had an emergency stash of money in my apartment. The tow guy trusted me enough to, come into my home to come get the cash that I needed to go and actually pay him. So everything worked out in the end. I was safe, of course. I'm always going to be protected. I'm so grateful for that. At the same time, I know that I shouldn't take that for granted. But the reason why that story is coming up and why it sticks with me so much is because that was like one of the first times that I guess like really just stuck with me and hit home, that if I have an inkling about something, if my intuition is telling me strongly to do something or not to do something, and if I don't listen to it, then I am putting myself in danger. I am literally putting myself in danger, okay? So that's why that was such a critical lesson for me. And, at this point, years later, in this whole next decade of life, and leaving this relationship and leaving that community I was a part of, the stakes were high. The stakes were very high. Trust me, I recognize that. And, I know a lot of people, even within that space, were, going to be hurt by my departure because I was a pretty prominent figure within the space. And I contributed a lot of service, a lot of my time, a lot of my energy, and a lot of my heart before it did get to a point where I slowly had to step back because I was starting to see the direction that I was going and it wasn't there. So anyway, all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. But the moral of the story is listen to your guidance. When you receive signs, when you receive signals, when you receive promptings, that is your intuition, or it is your guides on the other side that are helping to direct you to a certain space or away from a certain space. That is very, very real, and it's for the betterment and it's for the best of your very best self. So you have to be able to get to a point where you're able to trust that. And it's not always easy because of course you're going to question it, especially if there's a risk factor involved. It's not like, oh, what should I have for lunch today? Do I want to get a chicken panini or do I want a vegetarian salad? It's not like little trivial, it's real life stuff sometimes that we have to make major decisions about. I get that. Trust me, I get that. But I'm here, sitting with you today to say that sometimes you have to be brave. You have to find that courage within yourself to step out into the direction that you are being led, because it's leading you there for a reason. It's leading you there for a reason. There's more I could say, but I think we'll go ahead and conclude it there. So thank you for taking the time, to be with me on day 2 of our Absolutely Authentic series at Dháre's Dosage. Again, in your own timing, check out my blog. I've been writing the last 3 years. Let it be a resource for you. May you enjoy it. May it help you. May it benefit you. You'll find the link down below, Dháre's Dosage. And I will see you all tomorrow. Peace and power your way. I send you so much love and supreme wellness to you.